Hi, Raymond Hunter here. Hey, a friend of mine in Phoenix, his name's Frank, he sent me this problem the other day and he said, hey, this piecewise function, there's got to be an easy way to do this. And my response was, yes, of course there is. And I'll connect with you over the weekend. I'll show you how to do this. But I started realizing that students struggle with these graphing these piecewise functions. Almost all of them do. So I figured, you know what? I'll produce a video and make it easy for everybody. So I'm going to start, though, by explaining why we have piecewise functions. There's a couple of reasons. One is if you do get into calculus, a lot of the calculus theorems, they just work beautifully with every function that you're taught because they're all smooth and there's no breaks and no holes and no sharp corners. So you really barely even need to know how to do anything to actually apply the theorem. So to get you to really know what you're doing and know when you can use them and when not to, they give you broken up functions, these piecewise functions. The other thing is in real life, you may gather some data and you plot the data and, it's not really well behaved. I mean, you may have you're like, well, that part there, those dots kind of form like a line and these form like a curve. So you may find that rather than modeling it with a single curve, you do it in pieces. All right, so that's the reason for piecewise functions. All right, so here we go. Let's do this the easiest way possible. Start with the middle. It's got an equation of a line, 2x minus 1. And it says to use this, not when x is negative 2, but close to it, and when x is 2. But just use it at negative 2 and use it at 2. And I'll show you how to handle the negative 2 in a minute. So for now, we're going to put the negative 2 into the 2x minus 1. And when we do that, we get minus 5. So when x is negative 2, y is negative 5. So graph that point. So we put negative 2, we get down to negative 5, but put a hollow circle. And the reason for the hollow circle is we're really not supposed to use that when x is negative 2. And that's how we handle it. All right, now let's go to the other side when x is 2. Here it says to include it when it's 2. So the way that shows up on the graph is it'll be a solid dot. So for now, we'll put the 2 in. So we got 2 times 2 minus 1, we get 3. So when x is 2, y is 3. So x is 2, y is 3, and we put a solid dot. And now we know the things align, so we just connect the dots. So the middle part's done. All right, now let's go to the top part. So top part says when x is to the left of negative 2, it's negative 5. That is a line. It's a horizontal line. It's a special case. Notice there's no x there. And all that's saying is that y is always negative 5. It doesn't matter what x is. So when x is negative 2, y is negative 5. When x is negative 3, y is negative 5. When x is negative 5, y is negative 5. It doesn't matter. There's no x there, so it'll always be negative 5. So let's graph the first dot. When x is negative 2, y is negative 5. So negative 2, negative 5, and we will put a solid dot there. All right, now let's just grab any other x value down the way. Let's choose, say, negative 4. When x is negative 4, y is negative 5. So put that dot down. So it's negative 4, negative 5, put a solid dot. Now connect the dots, but draw an arrowhead pointing to the left. That part's done. All right, now let's look at the bottom part. That says when x is to the right of 2, notice the arrow is pointing to the right. So when x is to the right of 2, the output or the y value would be 2. Notice again, there's no x value. So it's independent of x. So no matter what you pick that's bigger than 2, the outcome or the y value will always be 2. So when x is 3, y is 2. When x is 4, y is 2. When x is 5, y is 2. And I realize it says don't use this when x is 2. Do it anyways. So when x is 2, y is 2. So count over. So 2, down 2, or I'm sorry, up 2, but put a hollow dot. All right, now let's choose another value. Let's say x is 4. Okay, x is 4, y is 2. So 4, 2, put a solid dot there. Now connect the dots and draw an arrow to the right. That's it. That's all there is to it.